Okay, so this is Home Tech, and I've covered the numerology between Tekken 2, Tekken 5, and Tekken 8. How those games parallel. The numerology between those games. Now we're going to talk about the beginnings of each generation. I'm going to talk about Tekken 1, Tekken 4, and Tekken 7. To show you guys that this Tekken numerology, which I've discovered, is more than just what you would call a theory. Now, me exposing the parallels between these three games, these three beginnings of each generation, you guys are going to see how they parallel, especially when it comes to the Mishimas. Remember when Tekken 7 was the new game to hate on in the series? Besides it being, quote, broken, because that could, any game could be, quote unquote, broken. But what were you guys complaining about? It's too bare bones. We hate the new shit. We hate this new rage art, weeaboo bullshit. You know, stuff like that, right? The new mechanics suck, and the game is too bare bones. There's not enough game modes or whatever. Well, Tekken 7 wouldn't be the first time we've had this problem. I'm going to show you how these three games parallel, even when it comes to content. So by the time I'm finished breaking this all down, you know, you finish this video and it's no longer just a theory. You'll watch this video and you'll realize it all clicks. No, I'm just kidding. Well, it will all click. It'll make sense, but I'm going to thoroughly break down the numerology. Now, of course, we got Tekken 1 as the beginning of the series. You got Tekken 1, 2, and 3. Then you got your All-Star Tekken Tag, which is the All-Star Go Home, you know, game before we start a whole new generation. You got Tekken 1 is the beginning, Tekken 4 is a new beginning, and Tekken 7 is a new beginning. Now, when it comes to the Mishimas, meaning Heihachi and Kazuya, solely, what do these three games have in common? How do they all parallel? I'm going to show you exactly how these three games, these three beginnings parallel. These three games have a major storyline in common, a major comparison that is undeniable. So let's get started. Okay, there's not really a story being told in this intro. It's just showing you the beginning of the series in the main cast. So, what is the main story of this game? Well, let's start with the winner of the tournament, which is the son of Heihachi Mishima. Me. Okay. Kazuya Mishima, cold-blooded son of a distinguished family, oldest son of Heihachi Mishima, head of the Mishima Zaibatsu, sponsor of the tournament. His participation in this tournament is for the purpose of causing a world-scale coup d'etat after causing the death of his father. The scar on his chest was caused by his father dropping him into a trench at the age of 5. AKA, 20 years ago, Kazuya lost to Heihachi and was thrown off a cliff, and now he runs with... Spoiler alert. You're already seeing something in the comment already, aren't you? I probably should have kept my mouth shut instead of making that sarcastic Tekken 4 reference. But you guys already see the parallel here, don't you? You already see it. It's already starting to click now, isn't it? Don't worry, this applies to Tekken 7 as well. Don't worry. My testimony is not finished. I still have more proof to solidify my claims. Don't worry. So, what is Tekken 1 as a whole, as a game, outside of just story? Well, it's bare bones. It has no game modes, really. You literally only got arcade mode, options, and versus mode, 2-player mode. It doesn't even have a practice mode. I mean, if your Tekken 1 has a practice mode, I don't know what version you've been playing, because mine sure as hell didn't come with it. But either way, there's no game, there's no team battle or time attack or none of that. It's bare bones. On to Tekken 4. Y'all seen that intro already. We are basically remixing the same Tekken 4 story. It's a remix of Tekken 1 story. Why does Kazuya enter the King of Iron Fist tournament for? Why was he killed all 20 years ago prior? Why did he have to come back in Tekken 4 to do it all over again? Let me show y'all what I'm talking about. Think about what happened to Kazuya before the events of Tekken 1. What was Kazuya's storyline in Tekken 1? He wanted revenge against his father for throwing him off a cliff when he was a little boy. I'll get everything back. I beat this motherfucker, this evil fuck, in the first tournament, and I gained it all, and I came back at the new beginning, and I'm gonna get everything back again at the end of Tekken 4. At the end of the 4th tournament, I'm gonna do the same thing I did in Tekken 1. Now, it doesn't matter if he succeeded or not. The point is, the goal is the same, to get revenge against his father, just like he did in Tekken 1.
Welcome to the King of Iron Fist Tournament 4, 20 years ago, Kazuya lost to Heihachi and was thrown into the mouth of a volcano. A few days.
What was the story in Tekken 1 again? He's getting revenge for being thrown off of something by his father. So anyhow, what is Tekken 4 like as a game? Some of you, to this day, don't like Tekken 4. You know, the game is okay, but it's bare bones. It's got a decent Tekken Force mode, but other than that, it's kind of murky and bare bones. It doesn't really have much of a cast. Doesn't have much of a roster. It did good with the roster, but it doesn't really have much of it. You know, the next game kind of gave us more. You know, it feels like the series has started a new beginning. You know? It doesn't really feel like Tekken. It doesn't quite feel like Tekken, you know? We kind of don't like these new wall push mechanics. Yeah, you know, it's like they're trying to be too realistic. It doesn't feel like Tekken. We hate that about the game, and we also hate how it feels bare bones. It feels like it doesn't have a whole lot to do. It doesn't really have much outside of, you know, a decent story, a decent Tekken Force, but you know, something's missing. Feels kind of bare bones. It all started from here. A new beginning, they're telling you. A new beginning. Does this look familiar to anybody? Let me go towards the end. They showed it again. There we go. Kazuya enters the King of Iron Fist Tournament 7 to get revenge against his father Heihachi, once again for throwing him off a cliff. Of course, they threw his mother into the mix to add more story, I guess, when she was never mentioned prior to Tekken 7. But I'm just saying, man. Now, what are the issues that we have with Tekken 7? Let me go back. I would have just, I want this to marinate with y'all as I explain this. Tekken 1, it was about Kazuya getting revenge for being thrown off a cliff. Tekken 4, it was about Kazuya getting revenge for being thrown into a volcano against his father. And then Tekken 7, once again, we're going back to Tekken 1. You see how the numerology works? Tekken 7 is making references from Tekken 1. This was a story from Tekken 1. Kazuya getting revenge for his father throwing him off a cliff as a little boy. I mean, you know, it's, unless you really observe this stuff, it's hard to really think this deep into these parallels. But when you stop and think about what I'm saying here, it's all making sense. This wasn't the story in Tekken 2, 3, especially not Tekken Tag, not Tekken 5, not Tekken 6. These references are only made in Tekken 1, Tekken 4, and Tekken 7. Now, what is Tekken 7 as a game? Yeah, you got a large roster, especially if you're adding DLC, but you don't even without DLC, the roster was very big, very sizable. But, once again, the game is bare bones. Doesn't really have a whole lot. You're only going to be playing the game online, really. I mean, I know that's a thing to do these days, but it has a really boring Tekken Bowl. You're not going to play that. You know, it's bare bones. And you don't really like the new mechanics. You don't like, it doesn't feel like Tekken anymore. You know, Tag 2 at least felt like Tekken. You know, Tekken 7 is just too different. They made it easier. You know, they added this new rage arts bullshit, you know? So you can make a comeback if you're low on health. They made it combo crazy, you know? It just doesn't feel like Tekken. It just doesn't. Y'all remember? See, Tekken 8 is the new game to hate on right now. So, Tekken 7 is off the hook. But remember, before we got Tekken 8? Oh, Tekken 7, this ain't no real Tekken, man. This ain't real Tekken no more, man. It's some other shit, man. They trying to turn Tekken into Marvel vs. Capcom, you know? They got Akuma, Geese, man. These DLC characters, man, they doing but the cheap shit, man. They got armor moves and shit to where it's not about frames anymore. And this ain't Tekken. You notice how I'm entertaining the same complaints about all three games? Tekken 1, bare bones. Tekken 4, bare bones, don't feel like Tekken. Tekken 7, bare bones, don't feel like Tekken. You see what I'm getting at here, folks? You see where I'm going with this? So yeah, folks. This is Home Attack. Peace out.